And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Wednesday. It's September 21st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on a Wednesday. Glad to have you with us, and we're glad to have Bob McDonald right here live in studio this morning. Talk about Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing great.
Yep.
Hope you are.
Still enjoying the warm weather, aren't we?
Yes, I love it.
Even though today, I think, is the first official day of autumn.
Yes. Oh, is it?
Yep.
What,
Yep. Think
today
so.
is?
I don't. MJ knows, I'm sure. Has it arrived yet? Fall tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow?
First day of summer, or first day of fall's tomorrow.
First day of fall's tomorrow. Well, I guess she knows what she's talking about.
I'd say she
but Today
does.
is the 21st of September.
Well, the weather's beautiful. I love this hot,
Oh.
humid stuff. It's very unusual this time of year, but I think today is going to be, high of 98, 99. So
Good set of
I love it. But
Well, there's something else is happening today.
Yeah.
And you bankers at least are going to take note of it, and it affects you a little bit.
Well, it does, and you and I have been talking about what's going to be going on today for about a month, and that's the Federal Reserve will meet again today, and they'll make their announcement sometime after 2 o'clock about what they're going to do to interest rates. And the best indication seems to be they're going to raise it by 0.75%, and which that will turn tomorrow. That'll have prime increasing by about the same amount, so prime will likely go from 5.5 to 6.25. That's pretty significant, Coleman. And there's a lot of folks have different theories about this, and I feel that we've got a conflicting economic policy right now. I mean, we've got inflation, no doubt. We see it in virtually everything that we do, but we've had so many large rate increases so fast this year. I've never seen such intense rate increases so quickly. So the Fed's trying to pull money out of the economy to slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, we have Congress who's passing legislation that puts money back into the economy. So you can't you can't do it like that. I mean, so it's conflicting. I wish the Fed would wait and see what their actions have done, that when they started raising rates back in the summer, give that a chance to take hold. It doesn't happen immediately, and so I just wish they would wait. I don't want to see them completely strangle the economy and really slow things down to a point that we find ourselves in some kind of a stagflation where we still have inflation, but we're in a recession at the same time. And so I don't know. It's very confusing, and it is having an impact on folks. I mean, we're seeing home prices come down. We're seeing home sales slow down.
Well, what's it done to loans in general? Has it made much had much effect there?
Not on the business side of things, Coleman. We are seeing a slowdown on secondary market mortgage lending. We're seeing a slowdown on our in-house mortgage lending, but we're seeing continued health in business lending. Whether it's a company buying a piece of real estate or a company buying equipment. Because if you have that need, you can't wait. So, but it is impacting their budgets, and they're seeing, they're already dealing with an increase in wages, and so now they're dealing with an increase in interest rates. So it is having an impact on business, and so we'll see what happens in the coming weeks after they make their announcement today, which we expect to be 0.75%. We're going to deal with it. We're all going to get through it, but I hope it doesn't put too much discomfort in the economy.
Yeah, and as you've pointed out several times before, we probably have it better than most here in Middle Tennessee, regardless of what happens.
We do. We're
next
blessed to have a diversified economy, and so we can be thankful for that. We're not dependent on any one industry or business type.
Well, what else is going on? Anything you're involved in right now you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about your upcoming guest. Can I say hi to Mark Hinsley this
Oh,
morning?
absolutely.
Kind of kick him off.
Good morning, Bob.
Hey, Mark.
you.
Great to see you on these Wednesdays, and congratulations on a great golf tournament yesterday.
Thank you for your support. Lots of great sponsors, and who
Well-
would have thought nearly 100 degrees in late September, mid-September. So
Well, you did a great job as always, and you've had a busy last week. You had a successful business after hours over there at your office, and you had a good turnout for that. And then of course your golf tournament from yesterday. And thank you for letting us be involved in that in the way that you did. We really enjoyed it, and I think those who participated did too. And you got your luncheon today.
got a great program today.
We look
We'll
forward to
talk a
seeing you
little
there.
bit about that.
Yep. So
You and Susan be there for lunch today, Robert?
I'll be there. Robert will be there, and if Susan's going to try to make it, if she can't make it, I'm going to try to bring Melinda.
Good for her. Yeah, she had probably a fun day, but she had a long day yesterday.
Yeah,
Different
yeah.
type of customer service and different kinds of smiles on people's faces.
Yeah. Well, we had a good time, and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
another successful event. And
All right, you got a minute to talk about a Simply Better free checking.
boy, he just cut us off, didn't he, Mark? That's okay.
I'll pick up in a minute where he left off.
Yeah, there you go. Simply free checking. It is free, Coleman. We talk about that every Wednesday. It's free in every way. Free checks, free online banking with bill pay, free ATM or debit card. You can use that ATM anywhere in the world, and it's free. We reimburse you any third-party charges. And
I just don't believe there's a better free checking account anywhere than what you've got. I don't know how it could be any better, Bob.
well, it is a good one, and we're proud of it. And if, for your listeners who don't bank with us, we would be delighted and honored to talk to them about that account. I appreciate your pen you have. I appreciate your coffee cup. I appreciate your green shirt. Billy has on his Cedar Stone T-shirt today. Mark's got a little bit of green in that shirt, I think.
I do.
MJ's got
may
some
be
green on
stretching it a
in
little
her
bit,
Gator
that's it.
shirt.
Starting to look like St. Patrick's Day around here.
Boy, big game Saturday. I think 3:30. Is that right, MJ? The Gators and the Volunteers should be good.
Yeah, the Gators are hoping.
Well, and your Commodores take on the Crimson Tide.
Oh, that's a slaughter.
Yeah. So
I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to think about it. I just hope the whole team doesn't get hurt.
well, it's gonna be a big weekend of good games.
See you next time,
Thanks,
Bob.
my friend.
Next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Bob McDonald, President, CEO, Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. Well, we're about 11 after the hour. Mark Hinsley is here, and he is the, I guess you're President and CEO of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce. That's the right title, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can now add golf committee volunteer to that. We had a fantastic golf tournament yesterday. So if you'd give me just a second, I want to, those of you that sponsored and played and helped us in any way, I hope you know how genuinely thankful we are. That's really our only fundraiser, and half fundraiser, half friendraiser, I guess, that we do outside of chamber programs all year. And we cross our fingers on the 10-day forecast, hoping it'll be nice and no rain. But we overdid it this time. We had 97 degrees. It
Was a little warm, wasn't
felt a little warmer than that on the asphalt parking lot, I'll tell you. But so many people work so hard to pull that off, and it typically sells out weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we've already secured next year's title sponsor and a number of the same T-Box sponsors. And so I guess we're on to something good. We just got to find a way to make it every year a little bit better than it was. But no, it was a great time.
Well, I
We had a
know
good
some
time.
of you that aren't avid golfers and so on, maybe don't have time to go spend 4 to 6 hours on playing 18 holes. We've talked about that already before we went on the air this morning, but still, you have a golf tournament. It's a scramble and best ball and
That's right.
shotgun start and all that. I've done a few of those, and they just are fun times. Even if you don't win, your team doesn't win, you still have a lot of fun and fellowship. And
Oh, yeah, we have people that have been coming back. I would imagine we got, there's probably some that have been supporting us one way or another for 20 years. I don't know. I mean, I think I've done over 30 straight golf tournaments, if I'm not mistaken. And I know some of those folks have been out there helping us, not just with this, but when we send out a note, they'll help us with the annual banquet or, sponsor this or that. And they believe in what we're doing, and they believe in the community, and they show it, and we're grateful for it. We try not to take advantage of it, but we work out arrangements that are mutually beneficial. And I have to say, I think it's working.
Well, yeah, and they are good fundraisers.
Oh yeah, this one is for us. It's really the only fundraising event that we do all year long, and the majority of the players are at least associated in one way or another with the.
Well, you can work a little bit harder one day.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the mornings after, I don't know whose bright idea it was for Mark to get up at 5 o'clock and come to Lebanon this morning, but whew, it takes a little bit longer. I don't think I could make it as a golfer.
Well,
all I did was, just kind of supervise and ride around and talk to people. I was exhausted.
Okay, we're going to take a break right here, and we'll see what else is on the mind of Mark Hinsley this morning. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways at 7:14. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. They have Red Max complete inventory, weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at heavy traffic right now, continuing inbound on 24 out of Rutherford County in and through Davidson County and through the Hickory Hollow area. Lots of radar down I-40 through certain parts of Wilson County also. Give yourself plenty of extra travel time as it builds up through Spring Hill on 65 coming up out of Murray into Williamson County. Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge is celebrating Oktoberfest. It kicks off in a couple of days. Check it out online at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedar Stone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Stephen Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me, along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner, as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. The Falcons of Lincoln County High School come to town Friday, September 23rd. Pregame at 6:30 on WANT and WCOR.
Coleman and Company here on a Wednesday. Mark Hinsley's with us, the president CEO of Mount Juliet. Are you Mount Juliet West Wilson Chamber?
That's our official name. Yeah, when this thing, the internet, came along years ago, and we had to come up with an email address or a URL or whatever, it got to be pretty lengthy, so kind of shortened over the years to Mount Juliet and mjchamber.org, and so.
All right, what else on your mind today? You're here. I've said this before, and I believe it. If I came here at 5 o'clock, you'd be here before me on the Wednesday that you come.
I like getting up.
But I don't know when you make your notes. I think that's what you do when you get out here. But
I work on them. I have a little folder at the office, which I left there because I didn't go to the office first this morning. But I have my WANT folder and just jot things down throughout the month, so it's pretty easy. But
well, what is on your mind? We've talked about your successful golf tournament.
We had a great event, and it's hard to say, but we're already looking forward to next year, to tell you the truth. But Bob was talking about collateral damage on the interest rate increases. Mm-hmm. What's it going to be? How bad will it get? Who will it impact? And I think he's absolutely right in that whatever it is, whatever happens, it'll probably hurt to a less degree in Middle Tennessee. And when you look at Middle Tennessee, Wilson County in particular, and I'll just speak for Mount Juliet, but with a property tax rate of nearly zero for the city, we rely heavily on sales tax. Uh-huh. And you get sales tax, you raise your sales tax revenue either by increasing the sales tax, or you get new people to come in and spend their money, or you get the existing people that already live there to spend more money. I mean, that's about the only way you can raise sales tax. And well known, we don't want to raise the property tax rate. And I would imagine most of the people that live there are probably already spending about all they plan to spend. Now, we can continue to work hard and make them aware of opportunities in Wilson County to shop instead of going to points yonder. But I think there's money on the table for attracting people to Wilson County, as we call them, temporary taxpayers. Some people call them tourists. And, they get them come in, spend their money, entertain them, and then when they go back home, somebody else can build their schools and pave their roads. And talked with Jason Johnson at the CVB last week. He spoke at our community development meeting, and lots of money coming into Wilson County, record setting in terms of tourism. And then you have the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair with over 776,000 people. Now, most people know how that was counted, and those aren't people that are all coming from outside of Wilson County, but there's a lot of money, coming in. And on my way in this morning, listening to WANT, the weather, or the news right before, I believe that's where I heard it, that BNA, the Nashville airport, just had 2 record-setting weekends in a row. The weekend before last, they set a record, and then this past weekend, they broke that.
Huh.
Now, I doubt if that's all people coming home to stay that just happen to be away for the weekend. I got to think there's a lot of people coming into Middle Tennessee to spend the money.
Yeah.
And so when they're here, how do we get them to Wilson County? You had Gail Hibbert on the other day talking about all of the things that are going on at the Wilson County Expo and where a lot of those customers are coming from. And I'd have to say, when people are booking big events for a year or 2 years ahead of time, I think the future looks pretty good, actually. I mean, there is an issue with when you give people a bunch of free money, but then they don't have any place to spend it because, whether it's supply chain or not enough help or whatever, there's challenges to work through. But goodness gracious, I'd sure rather be in the spot we're in than the spot that a lot of other people are in. And
I think nearly everybody would agree with that.
We have, and I think I've said it many times. I think it starts with stable government. You're going to get to hear from Mayor Bell, Mayor Manus. I think he's still got his first communion money. He's so conservative. He doesn't want to spend anything. Look at the county level and the people that are making the decisions for our county, and the amount of commitment that they've made to the education. I just think whatever storm's out there, I'm glad we're in the boat we're in. There's probably some people getting ready for that storm, and they're on the life raft. And we've done well. We got good leaders that are fiscally responsible. I think all of the governments in Wilson County could weather just about any storm. They're looking into their crystal ball, tightening the belt where they need to, making good decisions. And I think a lot of our families are as well. I mean, it's I don't think anybody's going to really push the panic button or whatever, but it's
Well, Mark, being it's Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce, you no doubt have your finger on the pulse of the whole community, but I think especially the business community, and what's happening in that direction.
When I took this job, I told him, I said, I don't know if it's going to be, things are going to get better or worse, but it'll be different. And I think that bring just a little unique perspective of having to go to the mailbox as a self-employed business owner. I tell people I went to the mailbox every day for 7 years with my fingers crossed, hoping there was more money coming in than I paid out the day before. And, I just never have really lost that appreciation for what it means for small businesses to turn that little sign around on the door in the morning that says now open, and hope that enough people come through and spend enough money to pay the bills. And certainly you have, gazillion-dollar businesses probably have the same issue. It's just on a different level. And so, I just...
well, you've worked in the corporate world some, too.
Oh, yeah. I was, a lot of folks, when I tell them I was a Cracker Barrel manager at store number 2 here in Lebanon, like, well, you're from Mount Juliet. You can't do it. Yeah. My kids were baptized at St. Francis Cabrini, too. So, no, it's, and so I guess that, I've always thought that, I guess elected officials, they know where those lines are at. But I can tell you, commerce has no lines. our customers are crisscrossing all over. Bob, a minute ago, they got branches in 3 different communities. I've got as many customers inside the city limits as I got outside the city limits. And I'll tell you this, anybody that wants to chip in and help make Mount Juliet or West Wilson County or Wilson County in general a better place, we're all in. You can jump on board and we'll do it together. So do I have a minute left?
Oh, we
minutes?
got 5 minutes.
Let me, lots happened since we talked the last time. And the Wilson County Fair, I figured this morning we had 144 golfers. They had 776,000 people. I don't know exactly the math, but that would be like putting on 7,000 golf tournaments in one day or something. It's like, holy cow. They did a lot of work, and I don't know where they all come from, but all you that are listening that help out with that, I promise you, together, y'all made a huge difference. And it was fascinating.
Another contributing factor, which I think we should never forget, and to be honest, thank God for it, that we had good weather. We had fair weather.
Oh, my gosh. And well-deserved, too, because I think it was anything but fair weather for about 9 straight days last year, if I'm not mistaken. But we started off with the parade, and Coleman, we hadn't gone 300 yards, and I was lost. I saw buildings that weren't there the last time, and turn around, and finally, I look over there on my right side, I went, oh, wait, that's Fiddler's Grove. I recognize that. I'm looking for this big building called the Expo, and they have just the facelift over there and the physical improvements. It's just absolutely incredible.
And there's one that's being finished now.
I know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And hopefully we'll have 94 tourism directors here next year for some sort of chamber-sponsored tourism. Bring all the tourism directors in so they can go back to their 94 counties and tell everybody how great Wilson County is, and then plan to come the next year. So
Wilson County is an easier sell today probably than it's ever been. I'm guessing.
Oh gosh, I don't think there's
it
any
hasn't always been that way, but it's pretty easy to sell, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I remember Lieutenant Governor Ron Ramsey years ago, before he was in the Senate. He was running for House, and he lives up in, I want to say, Bristol. I think he said on his farm he could put 1 foot in Virginia and 1 in Tennessee. And I remember him saying one time, and I think it's true according to Wikipedia, that if you and I were in Mountain City, Tennessee, which is way up in the Upper East, and you went to Memphis and I went to Canada, I would get there. Canada's 17 miles closer than Memphis is. It is a long, long state, and the geographical center is basically just across the Rutherford County line in Murfreesboro. Yeah. So
about Rockville.
It's just right. Yeah, it's right. Almost. It's just off the campus of MTSU. They got a little Blisk out there, but so we're in a great spot, and all roads lead to Wilson County. I tell you, especially on that last Saturday night of the fair. Whew, I can attest to that. I do want to mention real quickly. We got a great program today at our lunch. I'm excited. I'll give you a heads up next month on how it goes. But Nelson Andrews from Nelson Andrews Cadillac, they're building their second dealership in Mount Juliet, and I'm not sure we're going to get to buy a Cadillac by Christmas, but pretty darn close. And he's going to give us the rundown. I've already heard the presentation on electric vehicles, where we're at, where we're going. It's not a Cadillac sales pitch, but very, very interesting. Everybody that's listening,
I'd like to know the gist of what he has.
I'm
to
excited.
Say on that.
I have a feeling that things might even be different than they were when I heard him a couple of months ago at the Rotary Club. So looking forward to that. And I think Wilson County is going to have our first axe throwing building. We got a ribbon cutting a week from Thursday at the Axe Shack in Mount Juliet, where I guess you go in and it used to be darts or jarts or whatever. Now you throw a battle axe. So we'll see how that goes. But we got a ribbon cutting tomorrow at Third Coast Salt up on Sunset Drive, just around the corner from Houston's Market. And anybody that's supported, that's supporting the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber Golf Tournament, I believe theirs is next Monday. Mm-hmm. They must be living right, because they got a bright sunny day and the temperature is only supposed to be 77, which is 20 degrees warmer or cooler than ours. So all of you that are supporting that, thank you very much. That's very important to Chambers of Commerce, and I know the money's well spent. And I want to put a special plug in. Tomorrow begins the retreat for Leadership Wilson. And I guess there's probably plus or minus 30 folks that'll be taking off to Mont Eagle to bond for overnight Thursday, come back on Friday, and then they'll start their program, and you probably hear more about that. But if you're a business that is supporting somebody for Leadership Wilson, thank you. If you're paying for it yourself, you're going to get more than your money's worth, and I hope you all have a great year.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've covered a lot of territory here this morning, but it's always good to have you. And I'll let a little bit of the cat out of the bag. I'm going to be on special assignment in a couple of weeks here, and you're going to fill one of those days.
Yeah, don't tell them which day,
I'm
because
not going to tell you which day.
It might hurt the ratings that day. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that.
Mark, thank you so
You're welcome.
much. We'll
Good to
see
see
you
you.
next time.
All right.
And that is part one of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. 7:29 now, and it's all brought to you by Bates Ford Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at a crash, possibly with injuries, over here on Ellington Parkway near Cleveland. Trying to get down from the top to the bottom now on Ellington Parkway is really slow go because of this crash. Again, southbound on Ellington Parkway over here at Cleveland. I'm looking live at this crash. Heavy, but it's moving on. 24 up through the Hickory Hollow area. Just give yourself extra travel time coming out of Rutherford County. It's pretty slow at times up through the Hickory Hollow area. Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge is celebrating Oktoberfest. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERCrentals.com.
6 straight winning seasons, 2 consecutive AFC South Division titles, 3 straight playoff appearances. And your NFL head coach of the year, Mike Vrabel, leads your Tennessee Titans out of the tunnel every week.
Brought to you by Fakeson Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
One more day of this heat wave to get through before some relief arrives to make it feel like fall. Look for a high of 95 degrees today with all that sunshine before falling to 70 or so overnight. A cold front really cools us down for Thursday and Friday. High temperatures only reaching the upper 70s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
And we continue. Welcome to part 2 on a Wednesday morning. Keith Hilly is here. He's going to tell us the latest for Herc Rental, 1325 West Main in Lebanon. Keith, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Nice to see your smiling face today, and I hope you've got a lot to smile about. Herc Rental is your home away from home, I guess.
It is. It might be considered my first home. I think I spend more time with Herc than I do at home.
Well, you've come in and taken over what Philip Etherly started and ran for about 20 years, which was known as Absolute Rental at the time. The one thing you hadn't changed, that telephone number, which is still 615-443-RENT, and a lot of people do call and ask about what you've got. Of course, they go to your website as well, and let's give that out here this morning.
Yeah, so our address is, it's hercrentals with an S.com.
Yeah, hercrentals.com. So between that and the phone number, that ought to get the job done.
And that phone number is definitely not going to change.
Well, what do you want to talk about today?
I just wanted to say that we're starting to see all that different types of gear flowing in. If you come into our branch, you'll see boxes and packages where we're getting things daily. So a lot of new small tools, a lot of just quite a bit of things that we're bringing in. I know we've talked about the water trucks and different things, dump trucks that we brought in, but now we're getting back into that landscape season. So we purchased a few more ride-on aerators. A big popular one is the Stinger, and all the customers really have enjoyed them, and the homeowners. So we went ahead and we purchased a couple more of them. So now we have 4 of them in our fleet, where in the past, Philip had always ran with just 2 of them. So we're trying to make sure we have them when people are needing them.
And these are a popular item right now because now's the time to get your landscaping, but especially seeding done for next. You don't do that in the spring, you do it in the fall.
That is correct. Yeah, so right now is that time when you come in. And so these aerators that we have purchased, they actually have the cedar box on them. So when you're going in and you're aerating, it's dropping seed down in. So you can either just, patch, or you can sow in to put with the grass you already have, and there's a setting on there to do depending on what you're doing. And Philip, man, I go to him because he's the expert. He's been doing this 20 plus years, so he's learned so much. He's educated me quite a bit. But you want to do it right before that freeze, so when it comes spring, it really allows it to kind of take off in the spring, and you'll get a healthy lawn from it.
And the aerating is a good. I don't exactly understand that, but I did it one time not too long ago in my yard. It pulls little plugs out, but for whatever reason, that works.
It definitely works. Your lawn might look a little ugly for a little while, I will say that, but it's beautiful when it comes together. And I had actually never seen the concept where the aerator had the cedar box on it until I, was a part of what Absolute has here. And it's a neat little thing because it's putting that seed down in the ground. And you're getting it actually into the ground. Well,
I'm sure if anybody wants a little bit more explanation, you'll be glad if they come by. You can show them. I don't know how much they can see on your website, but I'm sure come by and you can explain more.
It's definitely one of those things that we have the team. It's still the same team, a lot of the members here, and they would be glad to educate anyone. And we carry all the fertilizers, the seeds, depending on what you want to plant. And anything you would need to do any landscaping at your place. We have it there. So if they come down, we'd love to show them anything and try to get them educated.
Well, that's one of the things that's going right now and will be, I guess, until it kind of gets colder weather, maybe even until middle of October and November. But we got a good window of time here to do it, but you don't want to put it off till it's too late.
Yeah, from here till about through October before we get that freeze. So I would say around November 1st, you want to get it done before that.
Yeah. You have you said you're getting more equipment in. You've got some bigger items that and we've talked about them some, but I guess just generally speaking, you've got a lot more everything.
We do, and we're bringing in a lot more scissor lifts, boom lifts, a lot of electrical gear, and so with that, bringing in this fleet, we're having to do some renovations and create power to charge these things. And so there's a lot to come, but as we're seeing this fleet coming in, we're having to expand and do some things just to get creative.
Well, I'm changing a little bit here, but I know you've talked about you were in hiring mode as far as some new employees. You still looking for some?
We are always looking for a few good hands. We could use some mechanics, good mechanics, yard guys, which is where I started. A lot of people start with Herc, and you can grow from there. We're always looking. We're looking for a driver right now. We're always looking. We're looking to grow.
What's the best way? Just come by, or
so you can go on to the hercrentals.com, and there's a slot there that says careers. You can go to careers, and you can look up any location in the country, and you can look for the jobs listed in that area. And so that's one way, or you can stop by and visit with us. We're fine with that too.
Yeah, but you are hiring. You're hiring a few good men.
We are for Lebanon and for Nashville.
All right. Anything else before you go this morning?
No, I appreciate you having me on, and if anyone needs anything, just please stop by. We'd love to help you.
All right. And don't forget that phone number, 615-443-RENT and HercRentals.com.
You got it.
Keith, thanks so much. See you next week.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're about 21 before the hour. Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell joins us this morning. Rick, good morning.
Good morning,
Or should
Coleman.
I say Mayor Bell, good morning.
Rick is my name, so I like that.
Well, you had a meeting last night. We'll get into that. I'm thinking you might want to talk about an event coming up this weekend before we really get serious, although that's pretty serious.
It is serious. You know, I walked in this morning, I knew MJ be wearing the wrong color shirt, and she is, with a big green
gator.
big green gator head on the front of it. But there is a game this weekend that's really important. You know, MJ and I were talking earlier when I got here, and she said, well, you know, Tennessee's the better team. And I said, well, I've seen Tennessee have the better team a lot of times and still lose to Florida. There's something about those jerseys walking on the field that gets in their head. So
You sounded a little bit like Mike Jennings yesterday. I was praising the Tennessee Vols and how they ought to not have so much trouble and expected to win. He said, you're just trying to set me up.
Well, you know, it feels that way. You know, these past several years, it has felt like a setup for Tennessee fans, but maybe things are getting better.
Well, as Clyde Harville used to say, that's why they play them.
That's right. That's right.
Are you headed that way?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I will be there, and it's you know, we've had season tickets all my life, and so my dad.
You're just orange through and through.
My dad started taking me to games when I was 6 years old, and he brainwashed me, and so I still go, and it's fun. You know, I don't really have hobbies. I don't play golf, and I don't hunt and fish, or you know, I don't do anything like that. So you know, going to Tennessee football games, that's my hobby.
And reading history books.
And reading history books, absolutely.
How was your meeting last night?
It was good. It was good. You know, there was a lot of internal business on the agenda last night, but there was one thing that's really important I want to talk about. Over on Woodside Drive, a long time ago, it seems like it's been several months. There's a bridge over there that was inspected and deemed unworthy for travel, and so we had to block that bridge. And the neighbors over there in the community that they're getting ready.
I'm sorry, man. Where's Woodside Drive?
Well, it's between Wynwood and Blair.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those cut through there.
Yeah.
And so the neighbors over there are getting frustrated. I don't blame them because it's been a while, because it was inspected, and honestly we did not expect the result. So we had to go through the design process. Then we went through the design process. Then we put out the bid, and nobody bid on it.
Oh.
And so we put out the bid again. We had some people who did. So last night on first reading, the council approved the bid. We're actually going to have a special call meeting tomorrow night for that specific purpose, so we can hurry up and start working on it.
Takes two.
It takes two readings.
Yeah.
So that's something we've been dealing with for a long time. For the people who live in that area, it's really important to get that done. And so we're going to start construction now and make sure that happens.
What kind of time frame we talking about?
It'll be months. It really will. Now it's not a big,
but it's been a while.
It's been a while already. But it's not a big bridge. It's more of a large culvert. But it's going to cost around $160,000 to get it fixed, and it is a city street, so that's on us. And but again, that's that road has been blocked for a while, and we need to get it unblocked, and so we're going to start that process now.
Well, I can understand the frustration, and especially the longer something like this drags out, people's understanding it gets tested.
Well, I would be mad too. If I lived right there, and there are people who live right next to it, and technically they have to go the long way to get out, and that gets old. When the barrels and things first went up, they were excited about getting it fixed and getting it worked on. It's going to look better too because it's older, and it's going to look better with the new design, and but after a while, you think, okay, when's this going to be done? And so I'm happy to say we see a light at the end of the tunnel now, and it's going to get done.
Well, is this something, once the contract is let here, they'll be on pretty soon?
Yeah,
Supposed to be.
they will be. They'll be on it soon, and that's why we're rushing with the special call meeting tomorrow night, so we can make sure that once the council approves it, we can look at the contract, really dig into it, make sure it's good, and really speed up the process. You know, there a lot of times once the council approves the contract, it's still a few weeks out because the engineers have to study through it, make sure it's all right, and before I sign it. But this one, we're going to speed up the process.
Okay, Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell is here. I think this is a good time to take a break. We'll talk more about last night's meeting when we come back here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:44. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota, Red Max complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner with up to a 4-year warranty. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at a crash over here on 65 northbound at Wedgwood. That's affecting that traffic coming up from Brentwood, Franklin. Again, a little bit slow here as they work this crash. 65 northbound at Wedgwood. It's moving a little bit better than it was a few minutes ago. On Ellington Parkway southbound, where we had a crash earlier, and had traffic tight up pretty good. Watch your speed. I-40 through Wilson County and in Dixon County. Lots of radar as well. Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge celebrating Oktoberfest. It kicks off in a couple of days. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon, happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, September 24th, as the Phoenix hosts Georgetown College at Noakes Lassiter Field. This is Christian Opposio of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 1 o'clock, leading up to a 1:30 kickoff, right here on WANT and WCOR. Play-by-play coverage of Cumberland football. The Georgetown Tigers meet the Cumberland Phoenix this Saturday at 1:30 right here on WANT and WCOR.
Join us for the first annual Sips and Sounds of September event on September 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Rural Hill Farm in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. The event will feature 3 very talented singer-songwriters, Ava Page, Marla Goodman, and Tiffany Turner. In addition to the live music, there will be a silent auction, great food, and great sips. That's September 29th at Sips and Sounds of September. All proceeds will benefit Wilson Rides, local transportation for senior citizens who no longer drive. Tickets are now on sale on Eventbrite.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Mayor Rick Bell is here. Rick, let me just mention something here. Mary Harris is a person that's very in the restoration project of Pickett Chapel Church, and they're having their 9th annual Harvest Heritage Wine and Cheese Celebration this Saturday, September 24th, 6 to 9:30 at the Capitol Theater, and this is honoring Wilson County Black farmers. Single ticket is $75, table seating $5.50, and you can purchase tickets at Wilson at the Chamber of Commerce, Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce, and donations are accepted as well. So we got that out of the way. Let's get back to, unless you want to comment on that, we'll get back to last night's City Council.
I just appreciate everything Mary Harris does and the Wilson County Black History Committee and Pickett Chapel. That's an important part of our community. Lady. She really is, and her and Mr. Harry both, and they've worked hard on Pickett Chapel, and that's a big part of our history, and it's everybody needs to support that, make sure that gets renovated.
Okay, what else last night?
Well, that's really about it. As far as as I said earlier, everything else was more internal business kind of items, and but there is one thing I want to talk about though that really didn't happen at the meeting last night. Is something that happened this last week, and Coleman, I've talked about it several times out here. We have a sewer project going out South Hartman Drive. And I've told you several times that it's that developers are paying for a lot of it. Yeah. There's a big residential development that's wanting to go in south of the interstate out there. And back in December we reached an agreement with them. There's 2 developers actually, but this one they agreed to spend about $10 million on that sewer extension and sign the agreement and basically said hey, once the the council approves this contract before you sign it, we'll give you the money. Well, last week we had a meeting, and now they're saying, well, we don't have this, we don't have that. Maybe we can just give you half the money now and do something later. And I said, no, guys, you signed an agreement, you're gonna pay it all up front. And I think that's one of the things that is important as far as my job and the council's job, is to make sure these residential developers, they come in here and they do what they say they're going to do. And my basic idea behind this is, stick to the agreement, pay the money. If you don't want to pay the money, then go somewhere else. We have a lot of people, especially these big, national builders who come in here and they won't act like that we should be privileged that they're coming here to build. And I look at it the other way around. I think they should be privileged to be allowed to build here. And one of the things I talk about a lot is growth management, and the big part of growth management is making sure people follow our rules. And over the past couple of years since I've been in office, we have passed several rules that the people need to follow. And one of them is, now if somebody wants rezoning, they have to do it with a specific plan, so the council knows that what they pass is what they're going to get. A while back we said, okay, if you haven't built on this specific plan in 3 years, it goes out the window. You have to come back. So it doesn't sit there and wait for like 10 or 15 years. Right now we're doing a thing where if somebody wants to approve or wants to make changes to a specific plan, that has to go back to council too, because what's happening is some people say, no, if there's any changes, we just stop the planning commission. Well, no, the city council is the one who answers to the people, and they're the ones who need to make decisions about these things. And so we're making sure that's in place. We've increased annexation fees. We've increased standards on townhomes. We've increased even standards on commercial buildings. We've limited the ability to put multiple homes on one lot. We've increased utility fees on new construction. The other day somebody told me that, back in 1978, Mayor Tex Maddox, he was begging for utility customers. Well, we're not begging for utility customers anymore. We have plenty. And so, I go back to what I said earlier. It's a privilege to build here. And what we want to make sure is what's built here, we dictate what's built here. People don't dictate to us. These big national builders, they come in here with their, multi-billion-dollar hedge funds that's backing them up, and then they tell us, oh, by the way, we can't pay the money now. Yeah. Well, that's not true. You can pay the money now. And again, if you want to build by our rules, hey, that's great. If you don't, go somewhere else. And that's the way I look at it. I think that's the way the council looks at it. And this past week really highlighted that for me. We get into a daily grind up at the city, and we have a lot of people come talk to us and, about different things. But when it comes to these residential developments, these large ones, we have to make sure that they're going to do it our way. Last night at city council meeting, Councilor Chris Crowell, he said anything that comes here needs to be a benefit to the city, and he's right about that. We don't have to accept everything anymore. And for people to come in here and act like, that they're going to establish the rules, that's not the way it's going to work. And so, I just want to say that today because this past week, really, as I said, it really highlighted to me, what we're dealing with, what we work with all the time. And I just want to make sure everyone out there knows that we're working on this. We have these control mechanisms we're putting in place. We're going to put in more. But from my perspective, if somebody builds here, they're going to build the way we want it, not necessarily the way they want it. And look, it's not our job to make sure that real estate deals work. Our job is to make sure that we make decisions that's best for the city of Lebanon and its citizens. And that's what we're going to do.
You sort of set a precedent, too. If you give in, for example, this you're talking about here, if you let them just pay half, and then others are going to know about this is setting a precedent for the future.
That's right. It does. It sets a precedent. And that's not a precedent that needs to be set. If we establish an agreement, we need to stick to the agreement. And here's another thing about it, too. We worked hard on that agreement. And it wasn't just me. It was our staff. It was, Margaret Washko, our utility director, Jeff Baines, our public services director, myself, Andy Wright, our attorney. Their staffs worked hard on this agreement. Okay, so what's it say to them to put all those hours into this? to come up with an agreement that we can all work with, we all like, and then at the last minute, me or the city council comes in and says, "Oh, we're going to change it now." That's not good either, because again, people worked hard on this, and people worked hard on the other side as well. But to come in at the last minute and say, "Oh, now, we don't, we will make it different now," that's not the way we're going to operate, and we're not going to operate that in any kind of agreements like this, any kind of zonings, any kind of standards on building, anything. We're not going to come at the last minute and say, "Oh, by the way, you don't have to follow the rules anymore." That's just not going to work. So, as I said, I just wanted to say it today and let people know, kind of what happens internally, how these things work, but also let people know that, we're standing strong against this.
All right, what is your action here going to do? I mean, is this kind of just put the ball back in their court? They either step up to the plate or leave?
Well, we sent a letter. Stuart Lawson, the finance commissioner, sent a letter saying that, the council has approved it, has approved the contract. So they have until September 30th to pay the money. But the bottom line is that I'm not going to sign the contract and put the city at risk until that money's in the bank. Now, whether that's September 30th or October the 5th or whatever it is, that contract is not going to be signed and construction is not going to start until we have the money in the bank.
So, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. And I'll say this too, and I'll, full disclosure, this is a Del Webb community, that would be great for the city. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but an agreement was made, and we need to stick to the agreement. If we start giving in on those kinds of things, then we'll start having to give in on a lot of other things and we can't start down that path.
Okay. What else you got to talk about?
There's a couple things. This past Saturday morning was a great event. The Martha Gasson chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution celebrated Constitution Week at the Fight Fessenden House, and so I got to go to that. I was invited, and we rang bells to celebrate the Constitution. And they have a big dinner bell out there that I got to ring, and so that was really neat to be part of that ceremony. And then this afternoon, I'm meeting Fred Burton, the counselor for Ward 2, at the new park over off Seal-Manier. Construction started on that, and we're going to do a walkthrough, to make sure that everything's going good. So we'll do that this afternoon. So, there's a lot of things happening in Ward 2. There's a lot of things happening in all the wards throughout the city. There's a lot of good things going on out there.
Well, by the way, R.T. Baldwin was on last Thursday, I believe. He's your special projects coordinator. He has a big part to play in this. And, of course, this is the culmination of an idea that Fred has been pushing, Fred Burton. So I suggested to him that Fred should buy him lunch.
That's good. I like that.
Hoping I could get a second from you on that Fred's got to buy RT lunch for doing a good job.
I think that's a wonderful idea. RT has worked hard on this park in Ward 2, and I think Fred buy lunch for RT is the perfect way to pay him back for what he's done. In fact, I think Fred ought to buy lunch for RT and his entire team.
The plot thickens. I want to get back to something. You mentioned celebrating the Constitution, and knowing the historian that you are, of course, there's a lot of history involved in the Constitution. We declared our independence in 1776, and it was, 1787 or so?
Was.
Before the Constitution, they could ever come up with it and get all the states, the 13, to agree to it. But that is a wonderful, I think, a wonderful document, that Constitution.
It is. And, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is we actually had another form of government before the Constitution. It was called the Articles of Confederation.
Right, yeah.
And it didn't work very well, obviously. We don't have it anymore. And so, the Founding Fathers got back together back in Philadelphia and came up with another government, and that was the Constitution. And, this is a document that, it's obviously it's the foundation of our entire nation. and it's an important document. I mean, it the other day, I had a proclamation for the DAR, and that proclamation said that, this guarantees our rights, and once a right is gone, it's gone. And so the Constitution has worked well for a long time.
And the Bill of Rights that was added to that, I think, meant a lot.
Oh, it did. The first 10 amendments, and that was part of the deal, because not everyone there agreed with the Constitution. And so it's okay, if we agree to this, we want these 10 amendments added to it. And that's one of the first things that happened under George Washington's administration was the Bill of Rights were ratified. And obviously, they're really important. And, I know a lot of people now want to look at the Constitution and kind of change it up.
Yeah.
But, the Constitution is the Constitution, and it says what it says.
It's worked good for a
and
long
it's
time.
worked well for a long time,
Well, yes.
and it's going to continue to work well as long as we don't mess with it.
Mayor, we're out of time, but thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate your visit. And that's going to do it for Wednesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.